Okay, these are the Reitzes. You want
Right.
to tell me who's who?
Left to right.
Okay.
Clayton. He was next. May was the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
Clayton was next. Grandma Elizabeth was next. Walter was next.
And that's your father.
Yeah. And Grandpa, my grandfather, was next. And this was Earl, the old. No, Earl was the oldest. Then May. Earl, May, and so. And Charles and Ada.
And you knew these all as your uncles and aunts growing up.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite?
Oh, I think. Let's see. I think Ada was. I saw Ada twice a year at holidays. I think she was my favorite.
Yeah.
And Charles lived in my high school district, so I saw him during this year too. But we were never good friends.
And what happened to your mom?
My mother left us when I was 4 years old.
And your dad raised raised you and your son.
Yeah. Then she came.
I mean, your brother.
She lived with a very well-known poet whose stuff was featured in Atlantic Monthly and the New Yorker. His name was Ellis Parker Butler, and he set her up with a nice apartment in New York, and they were lovers. And then on the weekends he'd go back to his family in Connecticut.
Scandalous.
Yeah, it was scandalous.
And you never saw her again?
She came back after a year or so when I was over 5, I think, and stayed for a few months. And she started showing real signs of mental illness. And Carol said she thinks it was postpartum, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she wrote a threatening letter to or a couple of them, to the editor of the paper, and he had her confined to the Iowa State Mental Institution.
Your father did?
No, the editor of the paper.
How did the editor get someone confined?
Well, he was able to do that in the state of Iowa because he was threatened. He had a lot of influence.
Did you go visit her in the mental home?
I never did see her after that. My dad visited her every month, even though they were divorced. And after a while, the conditions were so bad, and it was scandalous. The scandal was written up in Life magazine and everything. Dad got her consigned to a Catholic mental hospital in Dubuque, Iowa, where the conditions were much better.
So the mental home was deplorable.
Yeah, and it was a scandal that was written up. There were several state institutions at that time.
Do you remember what it was called?
Oh, it was the Iowa State Hospital for the Insane.
Wow. I've heard about those.
Yeah.
Where they do torture and...
Oh, it was amazing. He would take new dresses up for her on his monthly visits. And the next month, he'd see the help wearing the dresses.
What?
Yeah. He never stopped, even though he never stopped caring for her.
And he cared for you guys, too.
Oh, yeah. He raised the 3 kids, my sister, brother, and me.
Was he a good dad?
Oh, I think he was terrific. He put Betty through 4 years of theater arts at Cole College, and put Walter Jr., Bud, put him through 6 years of law school to a Juris Doctor's degree in the 1930s, in the middle of the Depression.
What did he do for a living?
He was the chief engineer of the second largest corn products company in the world. His name was Pennington Ford Corporation, and the only larger corn products company in processing was Corn Products of Illinois.
Did you guys have like a nanny or a maid or somebody who helped?
We always had a maid, because he was gone all day and we were going off to school. So,
Do you remember any of these nannies or maids?
oh yeah, there was Mrs. Fitzpatrick, was a large old Irish lady with a brogue, and I think she was mostly there, maybe 8 or 10 years.
Was she loving?
Oh, she was she's okay, yeah.
Mrs. Fitzpatrick. Did you have to call her Mrs. Fitzpatrick?
Oh yeah, always, right.
Yeah.
Was she the one that hugged you, told you that you were a motherless child?
I didn't.
Was she the one that hugged you and said, "You poor motherless child"?
Oh no, that was a neighbor lady down the.
Oh, okay.
What happened?
Oh, there was a neighbor lady down the street who one time gave me a hug and said, "Oh, you poor motherless child," and I went away thinking, well, that's okay but this woman and her husband had the noisiest fights, battles that you could hear all over the neighborhood. And I thought, if that's what a mother's like, I think it's okay. Just like we have it.